Peace, family. Peace, 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 peace. All right, so I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day, morning, okay, month, year, okay. I wanted to hop on here, real quick to say, listen, whatever your life is looking like, okay, and it could be life in, right? That does not mean that it's not getting better, okay? Because through every storm, there comes sunshine. Ooh, Dina said again. Through every storm comes sunshine, okay? Remember, in this here universe, okay, there are seasons, okay? Season of winter, season of spring, season of summer, fall. Okay, so every year is seasons. Okay, and you just have to be mindful of what season that you're in, because when you are in a winter season and you can distinguish, like, I know life is seasonal. Okay, so I know that right now it may seem that you may be going through a storm, but it's gonna come a time where as though it is very sunny. Okay, it's so sunny that the flowers, the flowers are growing. They coming up out of the concrete. Okay, that's how sunny it is. Okay, and you just have to believe in yourself and believe in source. Know that everything is working out for you. We all have a choice. Okay, all have a choice, and you choose how you want your life to be. And you choose if you want to give into things that is not serving you and that you no longer want to manifest. Okay? Because I say this all the time. We are always manifesting. Always. But we have to start asking ourselves, do we like what we manifest in? Right? And if the answer is no, right, that doesn't mean that every day is just going to be, like the Brady Bunch, so to speak. Life will still life, okay? But the thing about life is, when you start doing the work on yourself, things that you used to look at and probably used to panic over or used to worry over, you start looking at those things and understand that this is just something that I'm growing through, okay? And you change your perception, because when you change your perception, your whole entire life is going to change when you change your perception. So the ideal point is to know when you are in whichever season you are in, okay? Understand you have the ability to change your perception, okay? And through changing your perception, you are going to move out of that season, because you are not focusing. Everything is about focus, okay? You're not focusing on that thing, okay, that may be showing up in your life. You focusing on what you do want. And I know sometimes, right, it could be some type of way. And so what I tend to do when I see, that life is life in, I meditate. Okay. I tell you guys all the time that, meditation for me is prayer. Okay. Meditation. Also, I listen to stuff that is going to remind me. Okay. Cause sometimes you may be living in an ego state, where as though you allowing your ego to pretty much predict and control where you navigate into. And so one of the things that I started doing was I started understanding that I have the ability. When I say we are creators, I don't just mean that, like, oh, you're a creator. No, what I mean by when I say we are creators, that we are gods. Now, some people may not agree. And hey, listen, I'm not here to convince anybody, okay? You are a god of your reality, meaning you create your reality, okay? If you don't like what's showing up in your life, then you can do something different. For instance, okay, before I started doing these videos, okay, I was going through some things, right? And the reason why I say source do not care, okay, if you are, and when I say source, okay, what I'm saying is that the universe, whatever you deem source to be, okay, we're not getting into that. Whatever you deem source to be, right, does not care what you are going through, okay? Life is about lessons, okay? And if I allow people to talk to me any old type of way, to disrespect me, I remember, keyword, I allow, okay? If I have allowed, past tense, if I have allowed people to disrespect me, talk to me any old type of way because of fear, who issue is that? Is that source issue or is that a me issue? It would be a me issue. And source don't care if you say, well, that's my mother. The Bible does say honor thy mother and thy father. No, that still don't make it okay. Okay? Or that's my father, or that's my family. They've been doing all of this, or those my friends, or that's my significant other, my husband, my wife, she been talking to me any old type of way. That does not mean that it is right. Okay? And what I started realizing was, no matter how much I cried, okay, no matter how much my nerves was being shot, okay, no matter what, I still had to go through that. Because if I see that, if I'm operating from fear as opposed to love, the fear is, well, this is my family. And if I say something, then, they gonna tell me I ain't gonna have no good luck, or they gonna tell me that, whatever they gonna say, right? Then that's operating from fear. Operating from love is, don't talk to me this way. I have boundaries, and if you can't respect my boundaries, you will not be a part of my life. That is operating from love. Now, some people may not understand that, okay? And they still may try to manipulate you in a way where as though you feel bad because you have boundaries. Let me tell you something, okay? Once upon a time, I thought it was wrong for me to have boundaries. Okay. I thought that, when I first thought about or heard, the first person I heard talk about boundaries, ooh, look at this. Look at this. Hey, Jay, peace to you, baby. The first person that I heard talk about boundaries was Iyanla Van Zandt. And let me tell you something, because a lot of times when, like, you may put something out into the universe, right? Like, I wish somebody would have taught me about boundaries, right? And up until that point, you didn't hear nothing about boundaries. Cause as a kid, I don't ever record anyone ever saying, oh, I have boundaries. Never. Okay. It was pretty much, you do what you do, and then it wasn't like up for a discussion. Like, I'm gonna tell you, hey, you gonna play a role in my life, or, certain things that you is a absolutely non-negotiable, you can't do. Okay. And if you do, you will no longer be a part of my life. So I have never heard of it. Okay. And so when I first heard Miss Yana Van Zandt talk about boundaries, I was like, what? Because for so long, I didn't understand why my life was going in the direction it was going in, whether it was coming to whether it was in regards to my children, okay, being a pushover at times. Now, at times, I would have been mean, okay, but it would be times where, as though, like, when they smaller, I would be a pushover, because it's like, it's like I don't realize that one day they gonna fucking grow up, okay? So that was that. Also, when it came to relationships, right? When it came to family, and I would allow these things to occur, but I never knew, I wasn't a bad person per se. I just was a tolerable person. I just was at times a pushover. Okay. I allowed myself to be a pushover. Okay. And I'm not saying it's like, well, have pity for me. No. What I'm saying is so you could get a damn breakthrough. What I'm saying is if you don't stand up for yourself, okay, then your life is not finna change because you're going to keep on going through the same exact thing because you're not getting the lessons. And so once I was able to start getting the lessons, like, like I would get different synchronicities, right? And it gave me the coverage. Like I hear certain people's stories, right? Whether it was Miss Yana Van Zandt, one of the things she would say, just because they're your family, they don't get a pass. And it gave me the courage to say certain things, like to say like, oh, I have boundaries, right? And I would be afraid. I would be afraid. And sometimes it would feel like, I remember when I first said I had boundaries, right? And I was so damn afraid to say so. Okay. I was so afraid to say so. And one of the things that came to my mind was, who gives you the right? Okay. This is what came to my mind. Who gives you the right to tell somebody, okay, what, how they could play a role in your life? Like, who gives you the right? Who gives you the right to say this is no non-negotiable? Who gives you the right? Because for so long we could be doing something for so long and we just think that is normal. Like, you think that it's normal to be disrespected. You think that it's normal for somebody to do any or and everything to you. You think that is normal. And the reason being is because you grew up seeing it. Okay? But if you don't want to keep going through that, then you have to change your perception. You have to start looking at yourself saying, I am good enough. Okay? I am worthy. I am worthy of respect. I am worthy of love. Okay? I am worthy of a peace of mind. Okay? Because if you don't have a peace of mind, okay, your life is going to be chaotic as heck. And you choose if you want to have a peace of mind. Because if people are entering together, like, first of all, okay, now I'm getting all into it. Okay. Now, first of all, when people show up in our lives, they are reflectors. Okay. So for instance, right, prime example, say for instance, if you met a guy, right, and at the time that you met this guy, your self-esteem, it was pretty low, right? You just settled for this guy. Okay. Who could relate? I know I can, right? You just settled for this guy. And as you were settling for this guy, right, now maybe you start doing the work on yourself. And so now you moving on a higher frequency, right? You're doing the work on yourself and, things like that. And you seeing, you becoming aware of the choices that you are making or that you have made. And now you going back and forth with yourself, or you going back and forth with the guy, and you like, why won't you change? Why won't you change? Like, could you just change? And the guy probably won't change. He's not going to change because he is reflecting to you exactly where you were and where your mindset was when you chose him. Okay? And so, is one of two things. You could either stay in that relationship, or you can say, you know what, this relationship isn't for me. Okay? I have outgrown it, and we're gonna have to split. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that at times that may be the easiest thing to do, but what I am saying is you got to start choosing you, boo. Okay? You have to start choosing you. And so when people come into our lives, okay, and all the time notice, they are always reflecting to us that shadow side, that part of us that at times we don't want people to see. Okay. Like, I used to have this persona that I was so tough, right? I used to have this persona that, like, I really didn't care, when I would get in these relationships. I don't care about you leaving, right? I would talk my shit. But the moment they would leave, okay, I will feel devastated. Okay. And so what I had to start realizing was, one, why am I attracting the type of guys I'm attracting? And two, how can I change from attracting these type of guys? Okay. It wasn't the guy's fault. It was my issue. Okay. And what I had to start doing was I had to start looking at myself like I'm worthy. I had to start understanding that I am deserving. I had to start understanding that I deserve love. I deserve respect. I deserve a peace of mind. So I had to start looking at myself in that type of limelight. Okay. And so from me looking at myself like that, then that means that this is a non-negotiable thing. It is all around. So that includes family, that includes friends, that includes relationships, right? That I am going to stand up for myself. So if you don't stand up for yourself, right? We all heard the saying, you don't stand up. If you can't stand for something, you fall for anything, right? And so what you have to start doing is start looking at your life saying, I am worthy. And I don't deserve to be, spoken to like this. Okay. And not from a sense of, victim, but from a sense of, no, I'm so powerful that I create in my reality. I'm the one that's creating my reality. And if it's something that's not serving me, if it's something that I don't want to keep manifesting it, then I am going to do something different. I am going to do something that is so radical, people will not understand it. Because let me tell you something. When you have allowed something to go on for so long, okay, then people just feel like that's okay. Okay. They feel like, oh, well, I've been talking to her any other type of way, right? And then when you set up the boundaries, not saying that people are not going to break them, because most likely they will, right? But when they break the boundaries, it is for you to talk about it, to let them know, okay? Not for you to ask them a question like, why did you break my boundary? No, for you to do something about it. All right, so listen, I had an ex of mine, right? That I remember when that, like, I would be very reactive, okay, as opposed of thinking, right? And like whatever it was, like I just be reactive, right? And so I remember I would call him and I would just curse him out, right? I would just curse him out and pretty much belittle him, okay? And it was because I was so much in my masculinity, in my masculine energy, that that's what I would do. Okay. And then I would wonder, why would I meet guys that was effeminate? And the reason being is because I was so domineering, I was so controlling, okay? And those were some of the things that I would take on, the role of, me operating more so in my masculine energy. And I remember whenever I would, talk to him a certain type of way, he would always hang up, right? And it would piss me off. Sort of like, damn, why the hell you hanging up? Like, let me continue to talk to you in your type of way, right? That's really what it was, right? Like all up in the ego, okay? Operating from the ego to the fullest, right? And I remember once I started doing the work on myself. Now, this was after I had my spiritual awakening, right? But then I started doing the work on myself. I started seeing, and let me tell you something. When you have your spiritual awakening, that does not mean that you are going to be perfect. Okay? That does not mean that. Listen, you still will be climbing. You still will be, learning as you go along. But now it's like you start becoming more aware of some of the things that you do, right? And why you are getting the effect, right? Because it's cause and effect. Why you are getting certain effects sent back to you. And so the guy, right? So I would talk to him, he would hang up. And what that taught me was like, one, when I get on the phone with him, now it took me a few times to get this, right? Because I'm like, oh shit, if I talk to him in any type of way, then he gonna hang up, right? It may not answer the phone, okay? And so what happened was, that's what he taught me. Okay. What he taught me was, and it's funny how we get the lessons, right? What he taught me was, it is not okay to have someone talk to you and try to belittle you, and you still stay on the phone with them and listen to their shit, right? So that's what he taught me. And so I remember the roles had changed. Okay. So, now he would get in his feelings and he would talk to me like, we have a conversation or whatever. And he'd say some shit, and then I start hanging up on him because that's like something that he taught me. And at times you like, why this person do this? This is so different, right? It's because they are teaching you lessons, and it's for you to get this lesson. Another guy who I dated, this truck driver, okay. And at the time, honey, I was, I was young, okay. I was in high school, all right. And he was a older guy, okay. And I remember one of the things that he always talked about was me time, right? And how important me time was. And I never understood it. Like, when he would talk about me time, I just would look at it like, like he just didn't want to be bothered, right? I never understood, like, if you can't be alone with yourself, then how the hell could you be with somebody else? If you don't enjoy your own company, how the hell could you enjoy someone else's company? I never got that concept because I never heard anybody, talk like this when I was younger, okay? Except for, they don't want this truck driver start saying me time. And he had like a non-negotiable. It was like, listen, I need me time. And I remember when he first said it, I started thinking like, oh, you must be cheating. You must be doing this. You must be doing that. But he didn't care if I thought that. Because what was non-negotiable was him having me time. That was a non-negotiable. And so later on, things came full circle, and I started understanding the importance of me time, right? Like, you don't have to, if you're in a relationship, you don't have to be with somebody 24/7, okay? Just because y'all in a relationship. I think me being on this journey and me being single and enjoying my life and knowing that I could make myself happy, when I do get in a relationship, the more juicier it's going to be. Why? Because I'm not pretty much like trying to make somebody spend time with me because I'm operating from a sense of lack. Okay. A sense of, well, you know what, if he can't spend time with me, then what I'm gonna do. Or I'm not operating from a sense of boredom. Or I'm not operating from a sense of, well, I'm just gonna settle, okay, because I'm bored or because I'm lonely, right? I think the worst thing is settling for a relationship and then you still feel alone. Okay. You still feel alone. Right. And so on this journey of mine is like really looking at my life and saying, I have the ability to change X, Y, and Z. All right. And so to the person that's out there, listen, boo. Okay. Your life is getting better because you starting to see the lessons and you starting to realize you deserve better. Okay. Also, what you have to understand is that source don't care about you crying and crying and crying and crying. There's are certain laws in this here universe. Okay. And the laws in the universe, it governs our lives. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in the laws of the universe. Okay. That does not matter. Okay. There is a law in this here universe called gravity. Okay. Is a law in this here universe. Reap and you shall, you will reap what you sow. Okay. So there's different laws in this here universe. And it's for you to start looking at your life and saying, you know what? Am I going against because you can't break the laws of the universe. Okay, they'll break you before you break them. But am I going against the laws of the universe? And we've been programmed for so long to break the laws of the universe that it just comes, to go against the laws of the universe, that it comes so naturally at times, because, I've been doing it for so long this way. But do you like the results? Oh, my family, they showed me it this way. But do you like the results that you're receiving? Oh, this is the way I was brought up. But do you like the results that you are seeing? Also, I remember I had heard from like all these different documentaries, right? That we would normally say that illness comes from genetics, right? And is not true. Illness comes from the lifestyle of the genetics, right? From what we've seen growing up, okay? And it's for you to look at your life and say, do I want better? And if you want better, perhaps maybe you don't know how you're going to get better. But you start doing things differently, and it's going to be very uncomfortable at first. Okay, let me just put that out. It's going to be very uncomfortable at first. Okay, to think that it's going to be a walk in the park, honey, you are sadly mistaken. It's going to be very uncomfortable first. Because why? Because you are doing something different and you can't control it. And that's where faith comes in. Okay. But since you can't control it, it's like you rely on something else other than yourself. Right. And you start looking at things like, I know things are going to work out because this is something different. You know what you've been doing all these years. Okay. What you have to look forward towards. But when you start doing something different, you step into the unknown. And that's really like you walking by faith, because you don't know. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. The light is there, but you really can't see it. All right. Oh, you know what? I'm going to play some, as I'm getting ready, I'm going to play some Skip Marley, Faith. Okay. So you got to believe in yourself, know that you're worthy, know that you're deserving, and be non-negotiable, especially when it comes to your boundaries. Okay. If somebody is calling you and they being disgruntled or whatever, speaking to you, belittling you, and all these different types of things, and then you get off the phone, you getting off the phone crying. Okay. No. Before, if you see, every time I speak to them, you get off the phone crying. It comes a point in time where as though you start taking your power back. So before y'all even get that, before you even allow them to get that far, when we on the phone, you will not speak to me any old type of way. If so, I will hang up. Okay? And granted, the next time they're gonna do it again. Okay? And it's not for you. When they start, you say, well, didn't I tell you that if you speak to me like this again, that I was gonna hang up? Why are you speaking to me like, no. What you do is you hang up. Okay? And then they call back. All right? Oh, because they ain't used to it. See, they ain't used to you moving like this. They thought that it was sweet. They thought it was sweet like candy. Okay? And so when they call you again, and they like, why the F you hang up? Hang up again. Hang up again. And then it'll come a point where as though they may talk to any old type of person, anybody else, because we show people how to treat us. They may talk to somebody else crazy. But when they get on the phone with you, okay, they know it's a consequence. Okay? They know it's like you training them. Like, like a dog. Okay? It's like you training them. Okay? That you will not speak to me like this. All right? And so the next time, some people get it quicker than others. Maybe the next time they get it. But don't you keep making lines in the sand every time they cross your boundary, and then you keep on, well, I told you not to talk to me like this. Why you keep doing it? No, you better take your power back. You better start taking your power back. Okay? And it is going to seem uncomfortable at first. But you worth it. You deserve it. Okay? You deserve it and you worth it. So you got to tell yourself, no, I deserve to be talked to with respect. Okay? And so with that being said, honey, I see you guys tonight for the workout. Let me tell you something. My arms and my back and my glutes and my legs, okay, and my core feel some type of way, okay. But the workout that I did yesterday, it was definitely a big challenge. And I remember I was on the phone with my sister, and she was like, "Girl, it looked like you was finna cry on that video." And I said, "No, I wasn't gonna cry." I said, "But shit, that workout, it was intense." That workout that I did yesterday, honey, I had to take a nap. Okay, normally I really don't do naps, especially now, right? Since I'm eating better, right? But I still could eat much more better, like incorporating more raw stuff into my regimen. And so like I took a nap, and I was, honey, I was down for the count. And then I think last night I went to bed like 10 or 11, probably like 11 o'clock. I had went to bed and I slept so good. Okay, so good. So, I gotta go a few places today. And so later on, probably we'll do the workout probably at around 6 or 7. I'll show back up on here. And I love you guys, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.